program lined up. I called them yesterday to confirm, and one of the trucks broke down, and the babysitter called and couldn't babysit. So it was Mitch, Weatherhead, and Emily. I wanted to talk about their new ice cream venture, Sweetie's Ice Cream Trailer uptown. They've been over at the Subway lot. They've been at the church lot now, and anytime they're open, you go by, there's a line of people. When they told me about their venture and what they wanted to do, I said, I think you're going to do well. You know, I think a lot of people enjoy that, and you see people out talking, hanging out, and cars pulled around. So we're happy that they started that venture. Mitch is going to come and talk a little bit about this tree trimming business and servicing the community and our surrounding area, and then also about the ice cream. But I told we could catch up with him later, since truck and kids took precedence, and he's getting behind a little bit on his work. So I actually reached out to Turk, Guilford last night. He's going to talk about Growing God's Way is kicking off tomorrow evening. They have a big thing at the park. A lot of people, pastors, different organizations that come together. The classes that they teach, my wife was part of it last year. She really enjoyed it. But what a great outreach for our kids to show them the meaning of Christ and salvation and everything, and that outreach. So it's a blessing to have Growing God's Way in our community and in the school. Like I said, so Turk's going to expand upon that a little bit. But before he comes up, I was going to talk a little bit about some village things that are happening. First of all, I can't say how proud I am to go by. I don't go to the splash pad personally and use it, but I do see a lot of people using the splash pad. The Guilfords and Hicksville Community Fund spearheading this project. It's awesome. You see so many people and kids, a lot of people giving time, donations. You see a lot of cars down there and the kids playing throughout the year, and that's nice to see in our park. So I wanted to think that came to fruition. Finally, there was a lot of time involved in it, of course, and the patience of the fundraisers and the people that spearheaded it to finally get that done. But it's an asset to our park and our community. A lot of people come from out of town, they say, and use it. So that is definitely a blessing. We are currently still working on the Defiance Avenue Lift project. That's a separation project. It's anything, $1 million plus. We start digging up roads, piping, and different things like that. And it's part of our long-term control plan to better separate our community and not so much influx in our sanitary plant, but to separate the stormwater from the sanitary water. So we're still working on that project. It's been, oh my gosh, with the engineers a number of years working on that. So we're currently starting a downtown survey, more of a transit survey of pedestrians. You know, you've seen what Edgerton's done, right? We're supposed to get paved from the state on the main routes. Of course, you remember here a couple years ago they paved up to the village limits. Well, downtown's not supposed to get paved until 2029. I don't know if we can survive that long. We're starting to get, the roads are getting rough, you know, kind of thing. But that's what our projected date is. But with that project, we can ask for some grant money to revitalize curbing, sidewalks, different things like that. And then the state, of course, looks at, they call them bump outs. What Edgerton did, where it's a middle point crosswalk between a downtown district. You're not supposed to jaywalk, but I've been jaywalking since I was 4-year-old in Hicksville. You know, we all do, I think. You know, everybody uptown, you're across the street, you need to go to the bank, you need to go to the pharmacy, you need to go to Low Power Fitness, whatever. You just jaywalk. You're not going to walk clear down the other end of the cross. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen. It's a survey to look at traffic control, how many cars. If you're downtown, we have a lot of parking. A lot of times it's full. A lot of, cars going through downtown and other parts of town. We've had an influx of more traffic in our area. So they kind of do a survey, get all the parameters, and look what we can do to find grant money to help us with some infrastructure improvements. So as long as the state has helped from some funding on that, that would be a positive for Hicksville.
You know, Mike, I have heard some feedback from Edgerton residents. They were frustrated, and the people spoke to me about the amount of parking spaces that bump out took out of the downtown.
Yeah, trust me, that is a big key, to not lose any parking spaces.
Yeah, and I didn't think it made sense when I drove through. It's like, well, I guess it looks nice, but I don't think it's very practical in
Right.
some ways.
And we don't need to lose not one parking spot downtown. You know, we need more parking to make our large parking lot.
Just my 2 cents worth of what.
Yeah, but it's pretty wide. I don't understand when they put it in. I actually spoke to their administrator this morning. They only lost 6 parking spots.
I know.
It's amazing. It's kind of an optical illusion when you look downtown, but our downtown is very busy. Not saying that they want their downtown busy too, but you don't want to take parking spots away. So if there's another way of doing it, to add a crosswalk, I guess they're actually going to get, you know, the buttons to shut the lights down, to be able to cross safely and things of that nature. Because right now in Bruce's office, you know, there's always cars turning, going straight, yellow light runs kind of thing, those kind of things happening. So to make it safer, yeah, we should get work on it. I play Frogger across the street. I don't move as fast as what I was told, but you know, that kind of thing. So, but it's a study getting done by some engineers and see what's best for the community. So, you know, if it works out where we could add a crosswalk and maybe not lose spaces, you know, I think it would benefit the community for safety, and then also get some grant money for some curbing. I'd like to see the whole downtown all the way through town curved, you know, from one end to another. You know, I think it looks nicer, it's cleaner, so it's a lot more attractive all the way through town. Grable's done it here recently. It's a huge project in Grable, and different communities are starting to do it more. So I'm still working with Brian Keller, our industrial park. We've got like 2 lots left. Brian Keller wants to put in a spec building out there. It's like 15 acres, and we've been trying to get a utility access road moved for the Verizon Tower, but just to get a dirt road moved, what, 200 feet off to the left side of it to give him his full acreage kind of thing and not have any impediments on it. So hopefully it's coming to fruition and getting done here within the next couple months. But he still wants to build, which is an asset for the community. Like I said, a spec building, and where he could add on or build a spec and code if he finds a person to lease from him and everything. So past couple of years in MCO expansion, AP tool expansion, you know, Steve Eicher and Dustin Washler with their move up to the Crook Miller building and having their reception hall and their production facility in the old Crook Miller building. You know, to me, that was a kind of an expansion from them. They were on 49 in a smaller building, then moved up here, gave them a lot more space to work with, and they are busy. I stopped in there yesterday, and he showed me around, and it's amazing what they do. They're getting more in the cabinetry work and just closets, custom closets, and got a lot of good clients that they're working with, local and Indiana, Michigan kind of thing, working with certain builders, so others need to go through his operation. I know people have questions about the CMH building. We have a non-disclosure agreement with the attorneys. We can't talk about it, but I want to, but I cannot. So just put it this way, we are working on things, and when that time comes, if we can be more open about direction and certain things that we will. So
can you just clarify, you're just in the due diligence phase? Is that how this?
Pretty much, yeah. We got a lot of wheels turning and different things we're looking at. So, but yeah. So don't ask me any questions about that, because I won't answer. I won't. Yeah, maybe.
I read a little bit in the paper, and didn't understand things fully, that as everybody knows that Van Crest gave the old nursing home to the county, and they talked about they got a contract to tear it down, and then they were going to build a new senior center down there.
Sure.
But did I understand that got stopped now,
Yeah.
Mike?
I just was with the county commissioners, actually hold meetings in Hicksville once a month in the village council room. So I go in and talk to them a little bit, kind of see where things are going. They're still looking at building, possibly, but they have some other options, so they have not had final direction on what they want to do. There is 3 days now that the seniors can use our current senior center. They opened up from 2 to 3. They were asking for more time in the building. There's more people attending the senior center, so that's a good thing for Hicksville.
So it's another day, it's Monday and Thursday currently, and what's this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other day was. They were talking about doing it, and then when I was doing the, they had the blood screening down there. That's where they held the local blood screening here. I was talking to a couple of the directors, and they said there was a third day that was now open for the seniors to enjoy the facility and fellowship together, so they were asking for that. But final direction on where the senior center's going, I'm not sure. You know, something to expand upon your project with the daycare. I mean, that's huge for Hicksville if that, you know, when that comes to fruition. Great location, you know, kind of thing. So we definitely need a solid full-time daycare. So looking forward to that. Any other questions besides the one questions I can't talk about? Very driven by the nature walk out here, the pavilion's up, it looks beautiful. I drove out there, very nice to add to that whole thing. So a lot of things going on in the community. Hirschberger's with the building, the old Stoller Seed House. You know, I run into Nelson on occasion. He's a worker. He was welding by himself and welding steel together, and he's still working on the grocery store concept and changing some of where his operations are going. But both of his operations, the cheese and turnover in the grocery store, have done very, very well. And that's, you know, another thing for Hicksville to be proud of, kind of thing. So you see some younger business people getting involved. You know.
Mike, what's happening on North Main Street today?
They're putting in new telephone poles. Yeah. They've been pulling the old, putting in new. They're doing their second one, or the third one today. I've been stopped a couple times back and forth. They're right on the curb now. Don't go down the Musargon. They are on the curb. I was hoping they were going to take that big one on Musargon and move it back about 3 feet, but that's Mike Lucas's property, and there's nowhere for it to go. It impedes our truck traffic. A lot of semis turn there. With them raising the height of the viaduct on 18 there on Main, that's helped a lot of semis get through there, so not as many turn. But when they turn there, people got to back up, and it's just not safe. So, but with the height, raising the height of the Main Street viaduct, that's helped out a lot. And I've talked for, I don't know when it's going to happen, but they said they were going to redo the High Street viaduct here sometime, and it's old. We've got to repair it in time, just maintenance. So, yep, but yeah, that's it for me. Give some time for Turk and stuff. So, any questions? Cool, thank you. I'm in the mayor's office 8 to 10. A lot of you have my cell phone number. If you ever have any questions, please reach out. You know, you see stuff on Facebook and different things like that, and we'll be as transparent as possible. So if you do have a question I can answer, I will in a heartbeat, and help in any way possible for the community. So give me a call. Just stop between the hours of 4 and 4:10 every day. Daily, right? Yeah. Thank you. But next we have Turk Guilford, the main man Turk, and Roy and God's way. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you, we're excited with Growing God's Way. Probably a lot of you have heard about LifeWise Academy. We weren't able to make that work here at the school. Didn't feel the students had time to be released for that release time education, but that is a growing ministry. So instead, the school offered to let us use their classrooms after school and do an after school program, so which we named Growing God's Way. I think a lot of you are familiar with at least the term. We're starting our 5th year this year. When we started out with K through 4. The second year we expanded into middle school and high school. And the grade school, the K through 4, meet right after school, about 3 o'clock to about 4 p.m. They're out by 4 p.m. Give them a little snack to start with, because a lot of the kids are hungry, haven't eaten for a while after they get done, and they do a little praise and worship and then go into the classroom there. The middle school and high school meets at 7 a.m. now, before school on Tuesday mornings. And we did that mainly because there's so much competition for time after school, sports and different after school programs. So as of last year, we had about, I think regularly they had in the low 30s meeting for middle school and high school, which I think is pretty good, because you find a lot of students that don't like to get up any earlier than they have to. A lot of adults don't like to get up any earlier than they have to. But so for them to come there and do that is good, and we hope that expands. Appreciate the community support. It was started with all the churches in town working together to start Growing God's Way. Most of the churches are represented on the board, and most of the churches are still involved in some way. Tomorrow night we're having what we call a kickoff event for middle school and high school down at the Rotary Pavilion. They'll start at 6, free pizza and tacos for the kids and the volunteers helping with that. They'll have probably about 5 competitive games. They'll break into teams and have some competitive games. Then they'll have like a playoff for the top 2 teams. And it's just a fun event, just a fun time to get together. Our first year we did it last year, we had 150 students. And we're hoping to have even more this year. So we feel real good about the turnout we have. And have a lot of fun. It's just a fun time. So I'm going to say that's about it. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but we want to continue on for this. The state did pass a law that even though there was a law saying that you could have release time in religious education, kids could get out of school for religious classes. I think in the last year the state passed a law that if a group proposes that, they have to make time to do it. So we could have pushed that a little harder this year with that law behind us, but we didn't want to do that. We want to work with the school as much as possible. And there's been a lot of teachers that have helped teach the classes. And there's usually, we'll start the middles, it will start next week for grades 1 through 4 on Monday afternoon, and Tuesday morning will be the start of the middle school. In kindergarten, we usually wait about a month, let them get used to going to school and their schedule and stuff. So the kindergarten class will start in October, but usually about every year we're looking for 1 or 2 teachers or aides or something like that. So if you know if anybody has the interest in working with kids, have them get a hold of us. You know, somebody from Growing God's Way, it could be me, there are several others on the board. Also, usually what they do in the middle school and junior high is they'll usually have some kind of breakfast food. There might be breakfast bars and juice or something. Might be a casserole of some type, kind of a broad range there. The churches in town kind of take turns kind of month by month in bringing that in Tuesday mornings for that. So the kids get a little bit to eat, and they have a kind of a message together, and then they break down into groups, to smaller groups.
They meet at the school?
Yeah, they meet at the school. Yeah. So it's worked out well. You know, I found that Vicki Gatchell, for some of you that know her, kind of leads the girls portion at AJ. Swanson kind of leads the boys aspect of that when they break apart, girls groups and boys groups. But Vicki said that she found last year they went to Amanda Lee's one time and went to her for that. And they said girls really even opened up even more. She said it was very, very, very good. So we're trying some different things. And with the grade school, I'm going to say we probably average about 12 to 15 kids per grade. So we usually have right around 70 to 75 grade school students out. And like I say, with middle school last year, we were regular having 30, low 30s kids. So we're pretty happy with that. You know, the advantage of doing the in-school thing, that life-wise, what we see there is when you have an thing where they get released out of school, usually for about a period of time, a class period of time for that, when they're released from that. With the LifeWise Academies, they're getting averaging about 80% or better participation in each class. So the advantage of that is you get to talk to a whole lot more kids. So, you know, we're keeping that in the back of our mind that maybe sometime we can do some kind of transition to an actual release time, a religious education. Steve?
Hey Turk, maybe tell us just the basic principle behind Growing God's Way. What's the purpose of it?
Well, the purpose of it, and I didn't think about it, I should have probably brought our mission statement, but it's to share the gospel message with kids and to expose them to Christianity, you know, and so there's a lot of stuff going on today. I mean, older people like myself have seen tremendous changes and things through our life, and even young people. I think a lot of young people are interested, want to know you know, what's true. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that goes against science, in different things. But basically, to let them know that Jesus Christ is our Savior, the gospel message, you know, He died on the cross for our sins. It's for everyone. Doesn't matter what our past is there, and when you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, you know, now you're new again, you know, and that extends into eternal life there. So that's the purpose, is to make that available, to get that knowledge out there for kids or anybody involved. But it's, as I say, the fun part about, one of the really fun things that I've enjoyed about it is that it's community supported businesses, individuals, a wide range of businesses, individuals. The churches, pretty much about all the churches are involved with it one way or another, so it's just really a good community effort too, and shows a lot about Hicksville. And I think one of the reasons that Hicksville's been such a good place to live, I got to think, you know, that in the past, I've thought about that often. I got a notion there's a good Christian base in our community going back many years that's helped this town to be the town it is, because probably all of you, especially it's been in business around here, you get people you meet from out of town that comment about how, for a small town, how busy our downtown is, or how nice our park is, and a lot of our school, you know, a lot of compliments, you know, and you know, we benefited from it when we were, those of us that grew up here, and you know, guys like you know, at your age really have even had more opportunities, you know, in a lot of ways and stuff like that, you know, curriculum and a lot of other things. So, and it all goes back to people being involved in the community, like we do here in other organizations. This community participation is what helps. So we always hope that, you know, we know the people as they grow up and get jobs, some will move away, but we always hope there'll be many that stay and are part of the community here and get involved and help the community be what it is. I don't know if there's any other questions. If not, thank you. Okay,
If
Shannon.
someone wants to donate, where should they send their donation, and able to?
Rick Straley is, I'm going to say, the president of the board. I mean, you could give it to me. I mean, if somebody wanted to, you could drop it off at our office. I'm not in there every day anymore. I'm retired from real estate, but I'm up there usually every couple of days or so to check mail that might still be coming in and stuff. If somebody wanted to drop something off at our office, or Jody would get a hold of me. It could be any board member, which I didn't bring any information. I didn't think about that, you know, but Scott, Jay and Scott, pastor, a couple from Empowered Church are on the board. I mean, if you gave it to Steve would get it to us as pastor. AJ Swanson, he's not on the board, but Rick Straley, and there's a few people there, Roger and Vicky Gatchell. Rod Conkle with the Catholic Church is on the board. So, or get a hold of me. I mean, my number should be in the Rotary handbook if you don't have it anyway, you know what I'm saying? So you can always get a hold of me. So make it as easy as possible.
We have Facebook or webpage.
Yeah, there is. We have a web page presence and stuff. I'm kind of illiterate in that way, so I just make them talk to me on the phone. So, yeah, but there is, yeah. Any other questions? Good. All righty, thank you.